Hello and welcome in. I'm echohack, and today we're going to talk about controllers for Diablo Immortal. Now, if you're playing Diablo Immortal, then you need to be using a controller. But which controller is the best one? After hundreds of hours of testing, I think either the Xbox Series X or Razer Kishi are your best picks. I'll have all the links of the controllers and devices we talk about today in the description below. Now, in order to give you a better idea of how I came to this conclusion, let's dive into more details. Picking a good controller is super important if you're going to play Diablo Immortal. Even though Diablo Immortal is a mobile game, it has incredible controller support. Just by virtue of playing via controller, it elevates the game to more of a first-class console or PC experience. Not to mention the ergonomic benefits for those who play for more than just a few minutes at a time. I personally have already over 1,000 hours logged into Diablo Immortal, and controller support is the only reason I was able to play for that many hours. Like any good testing, first we should look at a control group. This is not a controller, but rather it's a phone grip. It functions by giving you some additional purchase on the device and giving your ring and pinky fingers somewhere to rest. This device retails about $14 on Amazon, and for what it does, it's not bad. My number one complaint about this style of grip is that it puts a tremendous amount of stress on your thumb joints. Your hands are also in front of your screen, effectively limiting the screen real estate you have. And since your hands need to rest on the side of the device, charging and playing at the same time is a painful experience. I can't recommend a controller grip to anyone. Even though it is an improvement over just holding the phone alone, it has subpar ergonomics compared to other controllers, doesn't allow you to charge without hurting your hands, and offers no significant functional benefit over holding the device itself. At least one saving grace is that it could be useful for other mobile games without any controller support whatsoever to at least give you some relief. But next, let's take a look at Bluetooth controllers. These controllers function by connecting wirelessly to your device. For the most part, this works fantastically. If you're unhappy with the defaults, the game allows you to remap actions to anywhere on the controller. Bluetooth latency over my entire playtime was never a noticeable issue. And if you're new to the channel, then you can trust me on this one. I'm a high-level player in Diablo games, not to mention rhythm games like Dance Dance Revolution. So I'm personally very sensitive to losing significant frames of input. One of the best ways to use a Bluetooth controller is with a controller clamp. Now, this is perfect for couch gaming because it combines your controller and your device into one Nintendo Switch-esque thing. You can find these clamps online for about $10 to $20. I'd recommend getting one specifically designed for your controller so that it snaps firmly in place. When shopping around, make sure that it's made out of a thick plastic so it holds the device securely. Also ensure that the charging port isn't blocked so that you can plug in your controller without needing to remove the clamp. Now, when it comes to a specific Bluetooth controller, I'd say that this is mostly a personal preference. My choice is the Xbox Series X because it in my opinion, has the highest build quality, most tactile buttons, best D-pad, and this really nice grippy service. If you're more of a fan of a PlayStation 4 controller, then that works too. As the time of this writing, the PlayStation 5 and Nintendo Switch controllers aren't listed as supported, but we also know that Blizzard plans to continue expanding the list of supported controllers, and that these controllers are mainstream enough that I'd expect them to be supported in the near future. I'll link to Blizzard's currently officially supported controller list in the description below. The second option here for a fantastic controller is a controller like the Razer Kishi. This controller is fundamentally different than a Bluetooth controller because it's connecting over a wired connection. These controllers also typically feature power pass-through, which allows you to charge the controller and your device at the same time. Now, my favorite part about this kind of controller is that it collapses down, making it easy to take on the go. I think that's absolutely perfect for Diablo Immortal because you can easily carry this to a friend's house to play together. And because it has power pass-through, you only need to bring your phone charger. The charging port's even strategically placed away from your hand placement, making it easy to charge and play at the same time. Unfortunately, the Razer Kishi and their counterparts aren't perfect. The build quality, I think, is significantly worse than the more popular console Bluetooth controllers. The buttons are mushy, the grip is less stable, the D-pad's extremely bad, the triggers aren't even close to as good. but the trade-off for the compact form factor and power pass-through might be worth it for you. That's all I have for you today. Do you have a favorite controller, or do you want to see a more in-depth review of a particular controller? Do you want to see how I stream Diablo Immortal with a controller? Let me know down in the comments, and I'll see you next time. Peace!